Так, прием, прием, прием. Слышно меня, нет? Прием, прием, прием. Есть ли звук? Звук есть. Как меня слышно, видно? Раз, 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 раз. Напиши в Slack, если звук есть. Если видно меня. Раз, раз, раз. Алло. Угу. Окей. Hello everyone. Good evening. Let me know if you can hear me well. Please write down in the comments if you can hear me well and if you can see me well as well. We're gonna be starting shortly. So, well, basically we're gonna be starting right now. So yeah, just let me know if you can hear me, guys, and we will just move on. Right. Yeah, now you should hear me. Right. Yeah, thanks guys for your feedback. Please let me know if you can hear me now, because now everything should be working. Oh yeah. Jesus. Wow. Wow. So, right, good, very good, guys. Thank you very much for your for your feedback tonight. Let me. Yes, very good. Now I see that everything is working. So, to cut the long story short, let me introduce myself firstly, and I will basically give you a look at our plan. I will give you a look at what we're going to study today. I'm planning to give you quite a lot of content, and I hope that basically we will be done in just 1 hour. All right, so yeah, I don't think that we'll spend more than 1 hour. I will give you the content in less than 1 hour, and also I will spend as much time as you want answering your questions. So if you have questions, please keep them, write them down, and as you can see in the very end of the webinar, we're gonna have the Q&A session. Right, so let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Fyodor, and I am, well, I know it's it's Russian name. I'm a Russian man, and it might sound a bit difficult and unfamiliar to you, but still, here we are. So let me quickly introduce myself. Now I will run through the plan of the webinar tonight. So after I introduce myself, because I'm pretty sure that none of you really know me, because we are very well known in the Russian market, in Russia and Russian-speaking countries, but we are not known yet abroad. So I will give you a clue what we do. So the second thing that we're going to talk about is that what is actually an interior visualization, and what software do we use. Also, the next thing that I'm going to talk about very briefly is what is our benchmark when we are creating a photorealistic interior visualization. Then we will get to 3ds Max, and I will show you 5 steps of how to create absolutely any project in 3ds Max. Then we're gonna take a look at 10 major mistakes that completely ruin your image, right? So it's gonna be really, really useful for you. And in the end, I will tell you about our online course. I will tell about its program, about how it's working, basically, so that if you decide to enroll and improve your the quality of your renderings, so that you knew what you can expect from our course and from working with us. And again, in the end, I will run a small Q&A session. So let me quickly also ask you about why you are interested in this webinar. Why did you decide to join us tonight? So please write down in the comments basically the reason why you were interested in this topic. Are you an interior designer? Are you just a 3D artist? Are you just an enthusiast that you would like to learn this beautiful art? So just share this with me, and because I'm really super curious about who is joining me tonight. Since we have a little lag between what I say and what you see, it's about 20 seconds, that I will be moving on, and when you write down your answers, I will just catch you up. Wow. Well, actually, your answers are already kicking in, so very good. My teacher told me to. Well, your teacher knows what to do. You've got a great teacher. I saw your ad on Instagram and wanted to see the webinar before I go to your course. Yeah, that's a very good thing to do. Very good thing to do. You're already a 3D artist, Jesse, and who wants to improve. Right. Starting again with our quiz after 6 years. Good. Good. Right. So, can't actually wait to share with you guys the information that I've prepared for you. So, now let me just show you quickly some pictures of me and my team. So, Space School, well, this is a third of our, just a third part of our team with me over here. This is our office team. And we have 3 times more people working with us in online format. They're working for us from different countries. So here is me basically performing at different conferences in Russia, speaking about 3D visualization and working with interior designers. So basically, Space School, our company, does 2 things. We create beautiful photorealistic renderings for our clients, and we teach the art of doing them, basically. Let me also show you some works that we've done. These are some interior visualizations made by our team. I hope you can see them well. So basically, we work with interior designers and different furniture manufacturers, so that they could just see what they are going to build, right? So here are some nice little renders about, well, there is some more of me. And yeah, let me just show you some more nice, beautiful pictures. Yeah, so that's what we do. We help interior designers to see basically the design that they have made for their client. Let's also have a quick look at these interesting photographs. They look like photographs, but they're actually renders. So they're made with Corona and 3ds Max. And this is also one of my favorite projects. Absolutely love the color scheme here. So I hope you love it too. There we go. Right, so let me see if you wrote something down. So I'm a visualizer. The content interesting. Right, want to gain knowledge as I want to be a 3D artist. Good, working with Corona, 3ds Max. Very good, guys. Thank you very much for your feedback. It's really, really important to me. So Now you've seen the works that we have done, and to complete the introduction, let me show you some of the works made by our students. Our students are interior designers, which even have their companies sometimes. Sometimes they're just individual designers, and of course it's 3D enthusiasts and also students of different architectural departments in the universities, right? So there we go. There is some nice renders made by our graduates. So yeah, and let me also give you a look at some of the exterior visualization renderings made by our students. For now, we are just offering interior visualization course, but exterior visualization will also be available quite soon, hopefully by the end of this year. So there we go. These are some works made by our students. Now, let me see if you got any questions. So, right, let's move on then, and let's kick off with basically the second part, right? So, what is interior visualization? I've got also this gigantic folder. I want you not to pay attention at Russian words. This is an example of the brief that our client, an interior designer, gave us, right? So as you can see, it's just a bunch of layouts, right? And yeah, just different layouts. And we've got also information about every single room. We've got like textures, the examples of textures. We've got examples of colors. We have, all different kinds of materials from interior designer that has created a project of an interior. And our job is to basically just to visualize it in 3ds Max. So that's what we do. And yeah, the result of it, I think that I might even be able to show it to you. Let's have a look at the result of this particular work with the interior designer. So this is the end result, right? So everything made completely following the brief of interior designer. So these are the final renderings that we have generated for this interior designer. So that's basically what interior visualization is, right? And as you already know, there are two kinds of it. So there is interior and exterior visualization. And actually, yeah, there are just a lot of renders made for this client. So there you go. Let me know if you like them, guys. Give me show me 5. Just put down number 5 in the comments if you love the renders, and yeah, just put it down in the comments. I'm just curious. So next thing is the software that we're using, right? So as all of you know, there is the king of 3D softwares. It's 3ds Max. 3ds Max allows us to create the geometry, create basically project of totally any complexity you can imagine possibly, right? And 3ds Max works with different kinds of render engines. And as you know, they can be different. It can be like V-Ray, it can be Corona, it can be F-Storm, Arnold, and just you name them, right? Oh, you give me 4. All right. Yeah, thanks guys. Thank you for your feedback. Right. So next thing is that why we actually use Corona, right? I'm pretty sure that you're are well familiar with Corona and V-Ray, that they exist, right? Many of you, I guess, work in V-Ray. So actually, let me know in the comments what software you use, whether you use Corona or whether you use V-Ray, right? So why we use Corona is very simple. It's just a very precise tool which is dedicated specifically for interior visualization and exterior visualization. It allows us to work so much faster than V-Ray, and the workflow in Corona is much more intuitive, it's much more simple and actually enjoyable than in V-Ray, because V-Ray is just a gigantic tool, you know, which is dedicated not specifically for architectural visualization. And the problem here is that it just has too much, you know, too many different settings which are not at all intuitive. But Corona is very intuitive, and it's just, you know, dedicated at architectural visualization. Right, so many of you, I can see, use V-Ray, right? Jesse said I moved over from V-Ray in March. Yeah, that's a good move. I don't think that you regret it, right? Yeah, we actually even joke about it, that you know, person who works in V-Ray at some point survives a conversion, you know, like becoming a vampire, you know. When you once you're a vampire, you're never going back, you know. The same situation is with Corona. Once you've tried Corona after V-Ray, you're never coming back to V-Ray. Right, so moving on to our benchmark. What do I mean by this? By our benchmark, I mean professional interior photography, right? So let me show you a project which is a benchmark on our course, right? So these are the photographs of a Scandinavian design interior. I don't remember where, but doesn't really matter. But this is just very high quality, very nice professional photos, and our job is just to replicate them. So this is it. I hope you like this project. And also right, give me a second. Yeah, so our job is to replicate professional interior photography in as many details as possible, basically. And let me give you an example of professional interior photography. So if we, I don't know, let's take this example, right? So these are also professional photos which are featured in a magazine, you know, and these pictures, they're of very high quality, made on a very good professional camera, right? So basically, again, our job is to create the same thing, but in virtual reality. I mean, basically in 3D space, for which we use 3ds Max and Corona. And the thing is that our job is to replicate this interior photography on every single level of creation of the beautiful, well, basically of any kind of interior visualization, basically. So now that you've seen the references, right, now that you've realized that our benchmark is a professional interior photography, now let's move forward and have a look at the 5 steps to create basically a professional interior rendering, right? So here are 5 steps. I hope you can see them well. well, I can see the question. Would you say the same for V-Ray? Yeah, it actually doesn't matter which software you use. I mean, the steps are pretty much the same, regardless of the rendering engine that you use, right? So let's have a look at the 5 steps to create interior visualization from A to Z, right? So the first step is preparation. In this stage, we basically, if you are a beginner, your job is to first of all get to grips with the interface of 3ds Max, and next thing, after you got acquainted with the interface of 3ds Max, your job is to import the DWG plan, which you saw today, which I showed you, right? Which is made normally in AutoCAD or in, I don't know, ArchiCAD, for example. So your job is to import the drawing or the plan, whichever the way you call it. You just need to do it in a correct way, right? So that the scale was correct. So the next stage is modeling. And in this stage, we just create volume out of our 2-dimensional plan. So yeah, let me show you basically how it's done. So this is the drawing, right? So this is our plan of our room. Let's imagine that we have already successfully imported this plan into the room. Into the 3D space here. And next comes the room box. So as you can see, this is the 3-dimensional box of our room, which was extruded from our 2-dimensional plan, right? So also on this stage, we create like the baseboard, we create different configuration of the floor and just do a lot of different things. So let me just show you some of it. As you can see, this is already a complete project. This is actually our educational project, which you're gonna work on, which you're gonna replicate right after me, click after click, if you enroll to our online course. So let's just have a quick look at it. If you take this floor, for example, as you can see, it's got like the floorboards, right? We've got our baseboard, which has some particular section, right? And we have also the ceiling moldings, right? And yeah, we have a lot of 3D models, as you can see. So also on this stage, on the stage of modeling, we import all the 3D models, right, that we are going to just need in our project. So as you can see, we have everything up to funny lamp, you know, just some plants, you know, tables, sockets, you know, radiator. Everything is made in 3D. So yeah, that's how it works. So the next thing, the third stage, right? It's lighting, and this is actually quite a big stage here, because there is quite a lot to do. This is probably one of the largest things, one of the largest steps here, because when we are dealing with lighting, first of all, we need to know that there are two kinds of it. There is natural lighting, right, and there is artificial lighting. Also, if we go and have a look at our website, for example, right, you can see there's quite a lot of things to be done. So when we're setting natural lighting, we need to figure out which combination we want to use. Is it going to be overcast weather? Is it going to be sunset, like sunny weather, etc.? Also, artificial lighting. Artificial lighting is everything basically that works from electricity, right? So if we go back to our project, you can see that we have artificial spotlights right over here. And let's just make actually a quick render to see just how it looks like. While it's rendering, I think it's gonna take some time. Let's proceed to to have a look at some other parts. Right, wait, let me go into some camera. Let me choose a camera which is nice and beautiful. I think it must be this one. As you can see, I've got many of them. Let's go with this one. So if we go back to our plan, let's have a look at the website, right? So here we also have this stage, setting up the angles, which means setting up the cameras basically, because as you can see, I have some particular field of view of the camera, some particular camera angle, right? I've got some height of this camera, which you also need to get right. So there you go, and that's how the render is going to look like. Well, first of all, when we're setting lighting, as you can see, everything is gray, and that's how we set lighting. We create material override. We give one gray material to every single object in our scene, so that we could easily understand the direction of our shadows, how sharp these shadows are, and how dark or bright it actually is. So this is a tool which is used also in V-Ray and in Corona. Again, it just helps you to set lighting more easily and actually even faster. So next thing is materials, as you can see, and let me stop the render and let me show you the results basically of this particular project, right? So this is one render which is already made with materials, right? So as you can see here on the wall, we have some plaster, right? It's got some texture. The material is not even, right? So it has some bump effect. It has some glossiness. It has some just some texture, right? Same thing goes to the floor. As you can see, it's rather glossy, right? And the sofa is glossy as well, but it's glossy to some extent. However, the wall is really, really matte, right? And our job is just to make sure that all materials just look the way we want them to look, right? So there you go. And the basically the fifth stage, as you can see, we have two different stages. So in general here we've got 6, but we can actually just combine the last 2, and we have basically the final stage, which is post-processing and corrections. So by corrections, I mean well, imagine that you've been working on this project for like 3 days in a row. Yeah, you have created so many different I don't know, so many different things. You know, you have set a lot of cameras, you have created some natural lighting, you have created artificial lighting, you have imported many different models of different objects, and as you can imagine, there are just so many things to go that can go wrong, you know. And beautiful interior visualization is a beautiful balanced combination of all these many things that you've been working on, right? Your job at this very last stage, at the corrections and post-production stage, your job is to just tweak everything, just to set everything, change, edit different things to get a general balance, you know. And it's actually sometimes it really takes a lot of time. Sometimes it might take up to like 30% of all your time that you have spent on a project. It's incredible, but it's a fact. And then in the end you just spend, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes on post-production. So post-production in Photoshop, it's not even always required, because Corona gives us so many tools that if we create beautiful render, if we get the balance right, we don't actually even need the post-processing in Photoshop, right? So now, next thing that I want to talk about is not actually the 10 major mistakes, but I want to talk to you about 3 major steps, right? So as you saw, we have like 5 of them, yeah? And yeah, I mean, we have 5 major steps, but there are 3 even more major, you know? So there are 3 of them. It's modeling, lighting, and materials. I want you just to pay extra attention to these 3 steps: modeling, lighting, and materials. Why am I speaking about these 3 steps? Why are they so important? Well, the reason for that is that these are the 3 stages where you can get things really wrong. So now I want to show you how you can basically just screw up on the modeling stage, right? So let's just have a look over here. Let me show you these models. So as you can see, this sofa, for example, it's very detailed, you see. Also, if we go back and have a look at the render, let's zoom in, you see that it looks totally realistic, right? Because the reason for that is that, first of all, it has very nice realistic material. And the second thing is that it has all these creases and seams, all the wrinkles, everything is very elaborate, you see. It's the reason for that is that this is just a high quality 3D model. So if you download and use a low quality 3D model, you're just gonna have very plain cushions, you know, and very unelaborate, very poorly detailed geometry of your 3D model. And the thing is that our eyesight is used to see objects in real life, you know, and they're just objects, you know, and they all very very complex. They all have very uneven surfaces. The objects, I mean, take a look at the cushion if you just have it in your sight. Yeah, just have a look at the cushion, or I don't know, curtain, just some cloth, right? You will see that it's very detailed, right? It has a lot of wrinkles and just creases, right? And it's just very difficult to replicate this in 3D. That's why not many people do this. And when they don't, they have poor quality of 3D model, and therefore the level of realism goes down. You immediately understand that this is a 3D model of actually quite a poor quality. So again, if we are talking about the ways we can basically just ruin our work on the modeling stage, is by using poor quality 3D models. So make sure that you're using high quality professional 3D models. And unfortunately, they're not always for free, but they're absolutely worth paying for. Also, we give away large library of high quality 3D models on our course, just for you to use. So next thing is lighting, right? So if we talk about lighting, oh Jesus, there are so many things to go wrong. Well, first of all, let me show you, I think, a quick video but no, actually I think I will show you this video just a little bit later. I will show you some images. Yeah, so there we go. Now, what I want you to have a look at is the natural lighting. Natural lighting is all the light that just comes through the windows. So in this case, it's sky and sun, right? So let's just have a quick look at some different pictures of professional interior photography that I prepared for you. So as you can see, lighting is different everywhere, right? And it has just different intensity. It has different direction of sunbeams, right? It has, well, we just can see different shadows over here, right? And the thing is, our job is just to replicate the way that natural lighting looks like on a professional interior photography through the lens of professional camera, right? So as you can see, we have roughly like two kinds of weather conditions during the day. I'm not talking about evening or morning or night. Yeah, I'm talking about the day. So we have either overcast weather or we have sunny weather, right? And what's important to understand here is the difference in the intensity of the light that comes from the sky and from the sun. So in this case, we have sunny weather, and you can see that the sunbeams are quite strong, yeah, and the difference in the brightness in the shadows and under the direct sunbeams is quite intense, right? And in this case, for example, or in this case, the sun is behind the clouds, and now we just have light coming from the sky in the overcast weather, right? Let me have a look at some overcast images. Well, this is another sunny weather example, yeah. let me show. Yeah, there we go. This is also some overcast weather. And the thing is that, well, the shadows here are very, very soft. So basically, all we need to do is to replicate this in 3D. And yeah, I wanted to show you also a quick video. Yeah. This is quite a crappy video actually, but it will give you an understanding of how the light works when the sun goes behind the clouds. So as you can see, the transition of the sun here, it's reflected in this in the sharpness of the shadows. So now when the sun is like is out, the shadow is very sharp, but when the sun goes behind the cloud, this sharpness goes away, and the shadows become really, really soft, right? So all we need to do is just to replicate this correctly in in 3D visualization, right? So there we go. Well, next thing is cameras, right? So if we go here, you can see setting up angles. So we are talking about cameras, and yeah, again, there are just a lot of rules that you need to follow to set the camera correctly. For example, well, one of the rules is like the height of the camera. If we take a look at one of our works, well, you can see that the camera is not like 2 meters above the floor, and it's not too low, yeah, because the range of the height of the camera is like from 70 to 130 centimeters from the floor, right? And yeah, there are just many of these rules, and you just need to get everything right. And you can imagine that if you make mistakes at every single stage, your entire puzzle of your beautiful 3D visualization just falls apart. Well, you're asking about HDRI. I don't think that well, I wasn't planning to talk about HDRIs today, because it's well, we actually quite rarely use them in interior visualization. It's more about the exterior. Yeah. By the way, guys, just let me know if you can hear me well, if you can see me well, if everything is fine, and just let me know if the material that I'm giving is too complicated, or I don't know. Just give me some feedback if you're following me, if everything's fine. Yeah, because I need to know. Let me also know what you'd like to know. I'm actually moving towards the end of this topic. So we have spoken tonight about the 3 major parts, right, where you can get things really wrong. Yeah, and the three steps where you need to get them really right. Yeah, we talked about modeling, we talked about lighting, and the third stage, super major stage, is materials. Well, basically it's well, I'm not gonna talk like super much about this, but again, all you need to know here is that you need to create realistic materials, and in order to do that, you need to know how to work with maps. As you can see here, the floor is super uneven, yeah, and this is actually the key to creating realistic renderings. So if we have a look at our references, let's just take a closer look at them. I'm going to give you an insight on how our mind works when we see interior photography and 3D visualization, how our subconscious mind understands that this is a photograph or this is the rendering. If we have a closer look at the floor, we can see that the paint on the radiator, for example, is chopped. Yeah, you can see it here. If you have even a closer look at the baseboard there, you will see that the surface of this baseboard is very uneven. You will also notice that the paint on the baseboard is also it's chipped. Sorry, it's chipped near the floor. The reason is that, well, people just live there, they just damage things. And also, if we have a look at this particular image, for example, this is also a very good example of the difference which most 3D artists forget about, and they forget to replicate it in their renders. Have a look at the mirror. You can see, well, I hope you can see it. I hope the resolution is enough. You can see the fingerprints and some surface imperfections. And when you're creating a mirror material, it's just so easy in 3ds Max and Corona and V-Ray, it doesn't matter. It's just so easy to forget to replicate these imperfections. You just create perfectly clean mirror, and your brain, your subconscious mind is used to live in reality where no surface is perfect. Even if you have a look at the window or the screen of your monitor, you will see that everything has fingerprints, they have dust, they have scratches, right? But it's just very easy to forget to replicate these little tiny details in 3D, you see? And that's where the devil is. The devil is in the details. So on the level of materials, that's what you need to replicate. As you can see, the surface is here. Well, there is no surface which is just totally plain, Everything has some texture in real life, and everything needs to have some texture in 3D as well. So there we go. Right, let me have a look at questions if you have some. Well, you don't seem to have them, so let me move on. Now, as you can see, our remaining thing is 10 major mistakes that ruin your render. And in this instance, I wanted to I wanted to show you this folder. And this is a folder of a project, right? Well, basically all the render elements that you're gonna create during the course, basically. Or if you're creating like any project whatsoever. So, right, there we go. We have a very interesting thing here. We have a Corona Image Editor, and Corona Image Editor allows you to open your render even if 3ds Max is actually closed. So yeah, the thing is that we can just tweak the exposure of your rendering in Corona Image Editor. We can work with the highlights. As you can see, there are just a lot of highlights and it's just terrible. You need to leave no highlights at all. Also, you can use curves, and create beautiful depths, a beautiful depth here, as you can see. So I will just enumerate several major mistakes, right? So first of all, first mistake that most students do, doesn't matter students or not, just 3D artists with not much experience. First mistake is again the geometry. They use poor quality of 3D models. So again, just use high quality 3D models. Second thing is natural lighting. Yeah, you just need to make sure that your natural lighting is corresponding your photo reference, right? Third thing is artificial lighting. Here the trick is that in many cases artificial lighting and natural lighting they have wrong colors. Just remember for now that all the light has temperature which let me show you here, which follows this Kelvin gradation. It's either warm or it's cold, yeah. And the thing is that when people are creating artificial lighting, they just create like crazy colors, you know, that just are not realistic. They don't exist in real life. So yeah, number 4 is well, it's all about cameras. Actually, here we have many aspects here that you can get wrong. So first aspect about the cameras is the height of the camera. I think it's number 4, I guess, right? So height of the camera. The height of the camera should be in the range of like 70 to 130 centimeters. The 5th thing is the verticals, right? So let me go to 3ds Max and show you what I mean. When you are setting up a camera, vertical lines should always remain vertical. I mean, they should not fall like this. If we go to any camera that I have, let's go here. As you can see, the vertical lines are perfectly straight. So this is one of the major rules. It's just completely obligatory to keep, well, to follow this rule. So number 6 is the fact that the camera should really always be parallel to the floor. If it's directed, if it's looking down or up, especially up, it's quite a mistake, especially in interior visualization. So number 7 is this. It's highlight compression. You should totally avoid the highlights. Let me make them even stronger just to show you. As you can see, we've got huge highlights over here, yeah, and in the window, and also here. We should never just have them, right? So it's a big mistake because it just kills the detailization. So you always just leave it at 10 and you'll be fine. So when we're talking about materials, right, it's going to be number 8. If we're talking about materials, the thing is here that you just don't use the masks, the glossiness map, etc. You need to make sure that your materials look realistic, that they have some glossiness and they have some reflections. So the point number 9 also concerns materials, and it's about albedo. It's a terrible word. Nobody really understands what that means, but I will totally give all the information about it on the course. So for now, all you need to know is that, well, if some objects look red like this, it means that your material is corrected, is not physically correct. So you need to decrease its brightness. Yeah, so you need to get this albedo thing right. It's a huge thing to talk about, guys. So I'm not gonna dwell into it right now. So, and the 10th thing is the sharpness. Actually, you just need to make sure that your image is sharp enough, because if you don't use sharpness, as you can see, you're just lacking this clarity of your image, right? So there are actually many more of these aspects that you need to get absolutely right. So let's close it. There we go. Let's now move towards your questions, and I will move forward to information about the course. So let me know if this was useful, guys. Please let me know. So what's the difference between wait, can you tell about basic difference between different maps like bump, diffuse, reflection, and glossiness? Yeah, I think I can. But actually, let's leave it for Q&A session, right? How to use them accurately? Yeah. What's the difference between reflection map and reflection glossiness map? Yeah, I can tell about this also. Right. So let me briefly talk you through the course, right? So this image basically is the program of our online training. So I don't want to spend like huge amount of time here. I mean, just talking about the course, right? I want to give you a direct link to leave your contacts so that my colleague could contact you and tell you about the course in more detail privately, answering all your questions. My colleague, of course, is gonna speak English. So I sent you the link in the comments. So the major information that you need to know about the course is that, first of all, it's a 4-week online training, and all the lessons are uploaded on a very user-friendly online platform, which looks like this. So you just go into like lighting, for example, and here you've got all the lessons about lighting. Yeah, we study everything, all the theory, how the lighting works, right? What different combinations of lighting, artificial lighting. We briefly hit HDRI and sunset and dusk lighting conditions. We also talk about the cameras, of course. There are 3 lessons on cameras and the background, of course. So that's roughly how it's going to look like. The second thing is that you're going to get also is the technical support in a private chat on Facebook. So there, my colleagues, also professional 3ds Max users, they're gonna just take you by the hand and just help you along the way. You can just ask away any questions that you will be encountering during the course. The next important thing about the course is that, again, you are not bound to any timing, like today, for example. Today you needed to spend like an hour of your time, right? And in case with the course, you just don't have to, because all the lessons, again, are already on the platform. So you just go to the platform whenever you want, whenever you can, and just open the lesson, watch it, put down the notes and just work it through. Just repeat after me. What else? You will also get, right, all the 3D models and the textures. I will give you like a lot of them. Yeah. So as a result, let me show you some final renders that you're gonna create after the course. Yeah. So you can create my project, this particular one, yeah, or as you can see, this is all one project, or you can take your own project, especially if you have some experience in 3ds Max already, and replicate your own project by just following my lessons. Yeah. So yeah, again, these are the things that you're gonna learn to create. Now, let's talk about basically the pricing and the conditions, right? So for now, let me have a look. Yeah, let me open some nice picture for you. So the next stream of education in our school begins on 25th of July. Yeah, so in 2 weeks. And right now the price is 199 euros for participation, which is going to grow month after month. So you can also just, if you'd like to join, if you decide that you'd like to join and take this course, you just will need to leave a 30 euro deposit just for us to know that you'd like to join, right? So we can book you a place, book your seat, right? Our colleague, my colleague Georgie will give you all the information again, so you can just follow the link and leave your contacts. So next thing is that if you'd like to join the next stream, which is going to be in the end of August, you can actually even save 20 euros here. So you can pay 179 euros for the stream, which is going to start in late August. So again, our offer tonight is valid until Saturday 4 p.m. right? And yeah, basically you just gonna save about 55%, right? So because right now the price is already 350 euros, but for those who watch this webinar, the price is just 199. The price is 199 euros instead of 350. So yeah, great chance to join and to really improve your skills. You guys, you really just can't imagine how much information there is in the course. Every single lesson is not like 5 minutes that I showed you. Every lesson is at least 40 minutes. And there is a lot of very structured information. We have over 4,500 students, Russian-speaking students. And now we are launching already the third stream of our English-speaking course. So we are already doing it. Yeah, we're already creating beautiful renders with our English-speaking students. So again, hit the link to book your seat. Basically, you don't need to pay anything now. Just leave your contacts and my colleague will contact you tomorrow. Right. Let me have a look at your questions and let's go back to the Q&A section, right? Right. It would be more convenient if you can guide here. Right, so let me show you some maps that we use on the course, for example. Guys, for now, just let me know if everything is clear and if you have some other questions, please. And also, please let me know how did you like the content tonight? So was it useful, or I don't know, did you maybe know everything that I told you about? Now let me find the textures. So here we have a very nice brick texture, right? And as you can see here we have 4 different maps, yeah, and the way they work is that well, I don't know actually, guys, what you want me to show you here, because creating a brick material is well, it's gonna take quite a while, and we're doing this on the course with many other materials. So I don't know if there is any sense of doing it right now. Right, so I will just give you an explanation of what these maps really do. So this is, as you can see, this is just a texture of brick wall, yeah, and it will show you, well, I mean, it will show us how our material is going to look like on the render. And this is the displacement map. It's gonna help us to create a beautiful bump effect. And this is a normal bump map. It's gonna also help us to make our relief, make the relief of the material more detailed. And this is a specular map, which is gonna help us to map basically the reflections of our object. So if we use it, then in the darker areas your material is going to look more matte and less reflective, and in the brighter parts it's gonna look more shiny and more glossy. So do you use the photography technique rule of thirds? Rule of thirds is well, we let me just say that we use all the techniques that are used in interior photography. Rule of thirds is an absolute must in 3D visualization, because it doesn't really matter whether you are creating interior photography or interior visualization. Rules of composition, the laws of composition are suitable everywhere. Right, guys, so again, let me just send you this link one more time. So follow the link and leave your contacts to book the discount if you'd like to join the course, and I see you there. We begin on 25th of July, right? So again, let me know if the content tonight was useful, or I mean, we had like a lot of theory tonight. I don't know, maybe for the next time you'd like to have more practice, so just let me know. Can we create different maps like displacement map from normal JPEG texture? Yeah, absolutely. That's basically how it's done. Everything is created from the diffuse map. Thank you, Jesse. Thanks. I'm really glad that it was useful, because I have live sessions with my Russian-speaking audience, you know, with like 200 or 300 people, and well, I'm pretty much aware of what they need, but I don't know what is interesting for you from basically people from all over the world. Also, let me know from where you are actually. Right, guys, I'm waiting for any more questions. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. I'm really glad that well, I gave you some useful information. It's just the beginning, guys. Just the beginning. Right, so let me see if I missed any questions. Is there a way I can share my work with you? I'd love to know what you think on them. I think when it comes to 3D, all information is valuable. Yeah, totally. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, I'm not gonna risk to pronounce the name. Sorry. Thank you. You teach very well. It's very nice to hear that. Thank you. Good. Thanks. Thank you, guys. Well, is there a way, guys? I have 50 renders. I think even more actually to check tonight from my students. I don't give this information for free, I'm afraid. Sorry, guys, because yeah, I just have a lot of renders to check almost every single day from my students. So what you can do actually is you can send your works to my colleague Georgie, because he is also very knowledgeable and he knows which parts you should improve. So just go to the Instagram and or Facebook and just write to direct messages, and my colleague will tell you. Well, he'll give you the feedback. Right. So, guys, thank you very much for your time tonight. Yeah, I also can't wait to run more webinars for you, and yeah, I'm pretty sure they will be very useful, much more useful than tonight's one. So again, I will repeat the link with the offer. So yeah, make sure you leave your contacts there now, because you can get really great discount for the course, and yeah, if you don't join this time, you can join next time with even greater value. So yeah, for just $179, euros. You don't have to pay anything now. Again, my colleague will just contact you tomorrow and ask you all the right questions and see if this course is suitable for you. Right, last thing, what's your computer specifications? Sure. Well, my computer, of course, is quite powerful because I just need it for work. So my computer specifications is it's Intel Core i7 6700. I've got 32 megabytes of RAM, of memory, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So my video card is GTX 1050, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Parameters which are suitable, which are okay for 3ds Max, begin with 4 gigabytes of memory and i5 processor. It's actually i3 even, but it's better to have slightly more powerful processor like Intel Core i5. And again, as much memory as possible. If you've got like 8 megabytes of memory or even 16, then you're gonna just be flying. So yeah, it's perfectly fine. And you also need to have Microsoft, because Mac, they don't support 3ds Max. If you have Mac, you will need to download Windows on Mac. I will definitely do the course later on this year. I've been in contact. Good, very good. Right. So guys, let's wrap it up. Right. Again, I hope to see you all on the course. It's going to be really mind-blowing. All the students that are now taking the English course, they're happy. So yeah, it will definitely improve the quality of your renders like big time. So again, let me thank you for your attention tonight. And yeah, see you next time. I think that actually on the 23rd of July, I'm running the next webinar. So I actually even know the date of the next one. So it's the 23rd of June. So keep an eye after our social media and don't miss it. I will also hold live sessions on Instagram. Right, so thank you very much again, guys, and let's finish tonight's session. So yeah, again, thanks one more time, and see you very soon. Again, if you have any more questions, actually, I'm happy to answer them. Yeah, you're welcome, Jesse. Hope to see you soon on the course. Right. Yeah, thank you. Right, thanks, guys, and see you soon.